We are.
Huh.
Live-ish. It says we're going live. Now it says we're live. Corey Pulido. Hi, Corey. So do you guys want to hear the shit show that is the Sevan Podcast? You guys want to hear a little story? Where's Lazar Dukic? Well, that's a good question. So Lazar told us 5 minutes ago that he could only come on using Zoom, and I don't know what I'm doing, so I don't know how to make Zoom go to YouTube through the live feed because I'm not a Zoomist. I'm a Riversideist. I guess it's time to broaden my skill set. So Brian is on Instagram with Lazar right now, helping him get his shit together, and it looks like Lazar.
Hey guys.
Oh shit.
I made it.
This fucking Serbian tried to strong arm us and get us on Zoom. How dare he? Holy cow. Holy cow. Okay, I'm going to stop recording and turn on your... I hope this on the live stream. Does the live stream still look like it's going on YouTube?
It looks like it, yeah.
God, thank you, Corey, Brandon, Dora, Krasnarek. What are you, Serbian? Brandon, is that a Serbian name, Lazar?
Which one?
Krznaric. Krasnarek?
No,
Oh. How do we know if someone has is Serbian or not? Like if
I
you're
can't
Armenian,
see the comments, so I can't tell you.
Okay. If you're Armenian and your name ends in IAN, we know you're Armenian. How do we know if someone's Serbian? What's the tell sign?
Man, I think Serbians are better looking. He's good looking guy, he's probably Serbian.
All right, we're going to start like that, huh? For those of you who don't know, Lazar Dukic is one of two of the Dukic brothers who made it to the CrossFit Games. I can't think of any other brothers that both competed individually side by side except for the Panchicks and the Andersons.
And the Smiths?
Is that true?
Oh, Smiths, yeah.
Smiths. Which is really remarkable, right? That there would be 40 of the fittest guys on the planet with arguably the broadest. There would be 40 of the fittest guys on the planet with arguably the broadest net in all of sports. And by that, I mean it's the most egalitarian, I don't know, broad cast of a net to try to find the top. You know, there's arguably someone better in football, soccer. There's a better, javelinist somewhere in the world because the net isn't that broad and there's so many politics. But this guy, Lazar Dukic, and his brother Luka, they ponied up $20 each and jumped in the same pond as anyone in the world. Is that how much the open still is? It's $20?
Yeah, I think $20 still.
Which is like you could buy 2 houses in Serbia for that much. So his commitment. That's for the good look. That's for the making fun of my looks comment. And he showed up and he took. Hold on, let me put the rankings here. What place did he take, Brian?
Really, Sevan? You still don't know?
I could guess. I would say 7th. Oh no, I was wrong.
Close. Nice.
We had the opportunity to meet Lazar and Luka. They gave us their time during the games, which Brian and I didn't expect any athletes to do that, and there were a handful of you that did that, including Travis Mayer, Daniel Brandon, Colton Mertens, yourself, Luka, and I'm sorry if I forgot anyone, but that was Scott Panchik, and even Travis Mayer even did it from the venue, which was just crazy. And he goes to this competition. It was the second time he had qualified, but only the first time he accepted, and he finished 9th. You're 22 years old? No, you're 25.
I'm 25. Yeah, 25. Luka is 22.
Okay. If you want to hear sort of his origins into CrossFit, go back and listen to the last podcast. It's actually really cool. And here we are. How many days has it been since the CrossFit Games? Do you know?
A week and a half. It's 10 days.
And do you know how many days from now when the next CrossFit Games will be?
350, 346.
I like it. I was hoping that you were going to say something like you have every single workout scheduled for the next 346 days, meticulously
Oh,
planned.
no. Not even close.
Am I saying it right? Lazar or Lazar?
It's Lazar.
Lazar. Lazar, are you going to try to go to the games next year?
Of course, yeah.
Okay. Then we'll continue this podcast because we're investing in our time into you, and we need to make sure you're going again.
I hope.
Will Luca try to go again also?
No, for sure, yeah.
We
want to make it a tradition. 10 years.
That's awesome.
10 years.
10 years, a 10-year tradition?
10-year tradition. For me, Luca has some more time. I think it will be 13 for him.
Perfect. Before we wanted to walk through the workouts with you. Are you okay with that?
Sure.
But before we go there, can you tell us about what you did? So the games finish and you leave the venue. Can you tell us like how the 10 days between you leaving the venue and here, like, and no detail is too small. You went to your hotel room, you went to an after party, you guys got on a flight. I'm just curious, like how you've kind of decompressed over the last 10 days. What was it like?
Well, yeah, I went to after party, but I stayed for like 30 minutes because I couldn't sit or stand because my back was destroyed. So, yeah, not too much of a party for me. But yeah, after that we went to Chicago, drove to Chicago, and then flew from Chicago to New York, slept one night in New York, went back home, direct flight to Serbia.
Why did you stay the night in New York? Why did you stay there?
Because it was just a layover. We
Okay.
went to a hotel and just slept and home. I was home for one day, and then I traveled to France to see my girlfriend because she's living here in Strasbourg. So now I'm at her place in Strasbourg, France.
So wait a second. When you fly back to Serbia, you don't have to stay locked down in a hotel and
No.
pay $3,000 for 2 weeks.
No. I'm thankful for that, actually.
I love
because
Serbia.
We got vaccinated, and yeah, I think that opens many doors.
If you weren't vaccinated, would you have had to quarantine?
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to enter US. We would be able to enter US, but we would need 14 days quarantine in US, and that just wasn't an option for us. So immediately after semifinals, we decided to do it. So.
And then is that how you got into France too? You're vaccinated, so it was no problem there also?
Yes.
How do they know you're vaccinated?
Well, you just get some certificate, and that's it.
Could I just
show it? Can you just print it?
Yeah. Like could you send a screenshot of yours to me, and then I'll just make one for myself?
We can try.
Is it weird that my balls always itch? Brian gives me a little smile. Brian, give me a little smile when you read this.
Did someone write that?
Yeah. Oh God.
Oh jeez.
Hey, I was thinking eventually I'd love to get Ricky Gerard on here. Is it Gerard or Gerard?
I think it's Gerard.
Gerard. And I was thinking this morning, we're in the courtship process of getting him on here, and I would love to just ask him a million questions. But usually in the comment section, like, I don't give a shit what you guys write. Have at it. As long as you're not being just a complete scumbag, have at it. Say what you want. But if we have Ricky Gerard on here and anyone starts fucking with the guest, you guys are toast. So be cool. But if you want to beat up on Lazar, go ahead. Go ahead,
guys.
Yeah, go ahead. So you go to Serbia for one day, and is your brother still there?
No, my brother went to Greece with his girlfriend for some holiday. Hey, easy life.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what 22 and 25-year-old men want to do. They want to work out and then go be with their girlfriends. This is completely normal. And did your girlfriend watch the games from France on video?
Yeah, Yeah, she's my biggest fan. I can bet.
And she was at the airport when you got there?
Where to France?
France, yeah.
Yeah. She was waiting me.
And is she Serbian?
Yes.
And what is she doing in France?
She's studying for her PhD in mathematics.
Oh, geez. You got a smart one, huh?
I'm fit. She's smart.
Yeah,
Kids will be genetic gold mine.
Yeah, that's awesome. The people who get their PhDs in math, the stats on their success versus all other PhDs is it's fascinating. Thomas Sowell, the economist, has written quite a bit about it, and yeah, it's fascinating. It's a good step. Is she in Paris?
No, she's in Strasbourg.
Oh yeah, that's right. You said that. And where, I don't know where that is. That sounds like it's in Germany, but you saying it's France?
It's really close to Germany.
Okay.
Historically, that city's sometimes changed back and forth between France and Germany.
Yeah,
And everyone who
Germany, then France, then Germany.
they learn both languages there.
Wait,
Yeah.
how do you know stuff like that, Brian?
When I was in high school, I did a foreign exchange trip and stayed with a family that lived in Strasbourg.
Yeah, because it sounds like a German beer. That's how I knew it was German. Doesn't it sound like a German beer? Strasbourg. We'll take 3 Strasbourgs. Did you drink it all at the after party?
No.
Do you drink it all anyway?
Rarely, just some special occasions, but not too much. Just maybe a beer or I wouldn't say a wine, but something like that.
Are you a lightweight since you don't drink very much? Like if you take a sip, do you just start to feel it?
Man, if I drink one beer, I will I will start to.
You and me are in the same.
Yeah, a lot of the athletes are like that. I don't know where this lady's from. Her name is Camila.
She actually tells us where she's from.
Oh, I haven't got there yet. Camila Jaskolska. Oh, she's Poland. Thanks for the great podcast. I was listening to you for 5 hours straight during my drive back home today. Greetings from Poland. Oh, greetings, Camila. And she donated 25 PLN. God, I hope that's like $3 million. So this is the last podcast we do. And those of you who donate money, that's exceedingly generous of you. Thank you. So you're in France, and how much did you weigh when you were at the games?
200 pounds.
And how much do you
90
weigh?
kilos.
And how much do you weigh now?
No idea. But I didn't get fat. So
No. Have you worked out since you've been in France?
yeah, we are kind of preparing for a small team competition. Yeah, in Colmar. It's close to us, so yeah, we wanted to do that since before the games. So it will be fun. She's also doing CrossFit, so.
Oh, it's you.
Cool.
You're doing it with your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Wow, so she's like bringing in this heavy hitter, her boyfriend. It's like when you bring your dad to school to beat someone up for you. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm going to join the team competition with my boyfriend. You guys may have heard of him, Lazar Dukic.
It's exactly what happened. So we got a wild card without even qualifying.
That's awesome. Where's the competition? It's in France?
It's Colmar, France, yes.
Okay. And where are you working out? Are you working out at a local CrossFit gym there?
Yes, I work out now in CrossFit Nero, Strasbourg.
And are they receptive to you? Do they know that you were just in Madison and you were at the games?
They know, yeah.
And do they let you do your own?
They're pretty friendly.
Cool. Do they let you do your own thing, or do you have to jump in the classes?
No, it's huge gym, so even if there's a class, you can do whatever. There's everything you can imagine of equipment, so great CrossFit gym.
What languages do you speak, Lazar?
I speak Serbian and English. Yeah, but as a Serbian guy, you can understand a bunch of other languages. You can understand Croatian, Montenegro, Bosnian. You can understand Macedonian a little bit. You can. I can understand some Russian because I studied studied it back at school. So yeah, that's about it. I can't really speak.
Montenegro is a country?
Yeah, it was Serbia and Montenegro until I would say 2003, and then we got split.
I'm gonna have to look on a map. Like I just always thought of that as like a fictional place, like where like gangster movies or something take place. I had no idea that was a real place. I thought that was just like in video games, Montenegro. Okay, well, learned something new on this podcast already.
We are just warming up, Sam. We are just warming up.
Just warming up.
There is still a place
ahead,
over there
Brian.
called Bosnia and Herzegovina, though, right?
Yeah. Yes.
That's the famous spot. I feel like pulling up a window and looking at a map. I would have done that before, but I was on a phone call until right when this podcast started, like a jackass. I was in sheer panic mode when I got on.
Man, when you send me this app that I need to download, I'm like, I'll be late, just download it.
Cole Seacrest says, I want to know his issue with his judge on the pegboard workout. We will get to that. I promise you. I promise you. Someone got excited because you said Croatia. Oh, here, that explains everything. Amar Beer Dylan said it's too cold for the SARS virus to survive in Serbia. I love it. Okay, let's.
It's actually not cold. Everybody thinks it's cold. We explained it in the last podcast. It's not Siberia. It's Serbia.
And so I don't know if it was Matt Souza or not, but someone on our team said you were from Siberia, and I was like, oh, that's weird. And they go, why? I'm like, because I always thought he was from Serbia, and they're like, oh shit, you're right. So it's just these Americans. They think Montenegro is a made-up place. They don't know the difference between Serbia and Siberia. So one final question about what you're doing in France. How long are you going to be there? And like, part of me is like nervous, like you should already be back at home, like taking ice baths and heating up and preparing for the games next year. Like, how long can you be fooling around? How long can you be fooling around and with your French girlfriend?
Well, I'll stay here for 1 month, but I have here everything that I need to start my training. She's really supportive. She makes all the meals. She like drives me to the gym, everything. So yeah, she's great.
Yeah, that's a good life. Hey, how nice is that you have someone who's so passionate about what she's doing? Obviously, her degree is taking up consuming a ton of her time, right? And you have something that's consuming a lot of your time. And so both of you, I'm assuming there's a mutual respect. Like, hey, yeah, you do you, I'll do me, and when we get a chance, we'll come together.
Yeah, for sure. I think we both inspire each other. So it's great.
Yeah, that's a great word. People who inspire each other. Yeah, I told someone one time, I think the meanest thing I ever said to someone once, and I regret saying it, is I told someone very close to me that they don't inspire me. And that wasn't fucking cool of me at all. Next time I won't ever say that to someone again. And it ended up backfiring. It ended up being one of the most inspirational people in my life. She should have punched me in the face for saying it.
Yeah, but me and Anya, we made it through a lot of stuff. I was working when we started dating. I was just moving to Kuwait, and she was just moving to France, and we were like, will we work it out? And now we are 3 years together, three plus years, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. How did you guys meet? Did he freeze?
Mm-hmm.
He did freeze. How did you guys meet, Lazar?
I was actually her coach, and I had a girlfriend. So yeah, and a year after I met her, we were like really good friends, and then from friendship we got together.
Did your gym have rules not to hook up with the clients?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, well, that's good. You didn't break any rules. Arsh Patel donated 80, and it's like some squiggly line. That's really cool. Thank you, Mr. Patel. So should we just dig in with workout number 1, Lazar?
No.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
Well, last time we spoke to him was after day 1 of the competition. So I think we want maybe you could just summarize day one and set the stage for day two.
Thank you.
Good job, Ryan. Yeah, that's smart.
I can't remember his name, and you remember the whole podcast. Good thing you're on the show, bro.
You remembered my name. I heard you said to Dave Castro he should give me Rookie of the Year. And,
Rookie of
and
the
then
Year.
yesterday, man, you're my man. And also when I was running with those cleans, Lazar, you're leading. I was so embarrassed I lost the lead.
You
Man,
did
if
great,
I knew
man.
you cheered, I would stay in front.
Oh, thank you. So at the end of day one, how are you feeling? Are you beat up?
Yeah, it was hardest day of the games for me. I think it was both the stress and it was so much stuff to do that day. It was long first event. Then second event was heavy with lots of gymnastics. Third event was sprint, and fourth event the fourth thing that we needed to do is country parade. So that took some time and energy. And then fifth event was in Colosseum with a lot of humidity, where everybody was walking on other people's ponds of sweat. So yeah, after that I was pretty crushed. When we were talking, I'm like, I feel great. I didn't want anybody to know I was destroyed.
Are all the guys? Is everyone posturing like that?
I'm 100% sure.
Yeah.
On that day, you guys, we're feeling good. We did some moving this morning. We're ready to go. Now he's sitting here telling us, "Oh no, man, we were."
Do you get concerned when you're that after day one? You're like, holy shit, maybe we didn't do enough volume.
I was so happy that we got that rest day.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was nice. So after that rest day, I was feeling good, actually good.
And how long? Going back to what you said about the party, you said you had to go. You didn't stick around at the party because your back was on fire. Is that? Are you all healed up now? Are you 100% now?
Yeah, I had some small injuries even before the games, but it's okay. I'm trying to heal now.
Are you really trying to heal, or are you preparing for this team competition?
No, it's small competition with no prizes. Just have fun. Sometimes I like to do stuff from that I really enjoy, even if it's CrossFit. That now I'm trying to make a living out of it. But if you just try to do business and not enjoy, I think you will lose it really fast.
Are you tempted? Have you been tempted in the last year to be like, okay, this is too much, I'm done?
Oh, in my games prep, I was like, why am I doing this to myself? I can for sure say that I got some nervous breakdowns during my prep. So, yeah.
I wonder how common that is. I bet you that's really common and people just don't talk about it.
Yeah, I watched before the Comp Train made a video like how legends are made or something like this, and I have it in my memory pretty clear when Catherine and Brooke were crying after the rowing intervals. Yeah, I think that's pretty often. If you want to make it in CrossFit, you need to push yourself more than you know, so you need to go to that point.
And when that happens, you just know it's like just a bad weather pattern. It's just a storm. It's going to be gone in an hour and you'll get back at it. It's like, okay, have this pity party. It's done. Okay, back to work. The storm is gone.
Exactly.
Damn. Brian, what event did we start with in day two? Is that event 4 or 5?
Event 5. It was the one with the climb, ski, and then the Husafell bag.
Yeah.
And you, Lazar, you took you took 12th place in that. You did good in that.
I did okay. I actually thought I'm going to win this one, to be honest.
How many events did you think you were going to win at the games?
I was if I needed to place a bet, I would say I would win this one with rope climbs and ski.
And why didn't you win it?
I just made a stupid mistake of going too hard on the ski.
And I think
That
it was
scene.
I think it was a little I don't know if like Vellner and Fikowski and Royce Dunn, there was like some drop when I look at the leaderboard here, and I wanted to ask you about this. There were 4 guys within 13 seconds right in, and then within 13 seconds behind you there was no one. And sometimes I look at stuff like that when I think about the further you go down the leaderboard, and obviously you weren't that far down. Very good. But there's small margins for error like that add up
12th,
over the weekend.
12th.
No, he was 9th
No, he
overall
said
from the end
overall.
of the week,
Oh, sorry. Okay.
but 12th on this workout. But and you're 13 seconds ahead of the next pack. But the pack that you're in, you're last in that pack basically. And I'm curious in the context of that workout if you're aware of like, man, there's a couple guys right in front of me and there's no one right behind me.
I just knew who's in front of me. I was listening to the guy who was talking on the mic. So yeah, I just knew who's in front, and I tried to catch them. And yeah, I just couldn't. My hands were dead from all the pulling. And yeah, on my second to last rope climb, I was thinking I'm going to fall from the top because I just couldn't hold the rope anymore. I
you
just
fall?
burned. No, I didn't fall, but it was at some point I needed to like hit the thing with my hand, and my other hand slipped, and I just took it with my right arm and then dropped down. It was really close.
Wow. Did you talk? Is that common? Do you think a bunch of guys like are all the guys pushing that hard out there? There's no padding. There's no wiggle room. There's no margin for error.
I think if you're pacing it correctly, you will not go to that place.
How tall was that rope climb?
Oh, I think it was taller than the regular one. I think it was around 5.5, maybe less. I'm not sure. I know when I climbed the regular one for the semifinals, the open, like whatever, I need one climb plus half, and for this one I needed 2 whole climbs and a little bit more.
Was it 20 feet, Brian?
They advertise it as 20 feet. I'm from the crash pad to the beam. I heard some people speculate. I'd say it was somewhere between 18 and 20 feet. Yeah.
So you're saying if it was 1 foot taller, we may have seen a different outcome, Lazar. We may have seen you fall. We may have seen an epic highlight reel.
Probably.
Wow, that's awesome. And how do you know that you went too hard on the ski erg? Like how and when? When do you realize it, and how do you know?
I realized it in the second round, and actually after the first round of ski, and I just didn't stop there. I continued pushing ski like I just didn't know what I'm doing. I just went for a push on a ski, and then I just couldn't climb a rope each round. I climbed it, but I could have been faster. I did the 145 pace, or even faster on the ski, and if somebody goes 155, that's 10 seconds on the 500 meters, and you can lose those seconds in Hasselfeld bag or on the rope climbs easily. So yeah, that wasn't really a smart move from me. So yeah.
So you're pulling too hard, but it's kind of like you're watching a movie. You don't stop. You're like, hey, dude, you're going too fast. You're going too hot, and then but you're just still doing it.
Yes, and I think that's what happened in each first workout of the day for me.
Every day, the first workout.
Except for the toast to bar run that I won.
Oh, okay. The event.
Oh, wow, that's really cool. I could see that. That's really an honest and really cool perspective. Even though you're attacking it wrong, you're still just like watching yourself do it.
I just couldn't pull any slower on the ski. Maybe it was adrenaline. I was just pulling it on like slow down, and I couldn't slow down.
That's awesome.
Good lesson for anyone who does CrossFit in general, though, and at the highest level and all the way down to someone just learning at the affiliates. On the machines, when you're pairing it with anything else, going a couple seconds faster is usually not worth the trade-off of how it's going to affect whatever comes next or came before.
I would agree.
Did you drop the bag at all, the Husafel bag?
No, bag was really not important in that one.
How much of your childhood sports that we talked about, you were a water polo player, how much, if you hadn't have done that, could you be where you are today? Meaning specifically around your engine, is your whole, are like, if you want to be a good CrossFitter, should you be like, yeah, you better have started when you were 3 working on that engine?
Really, I can't tell, but I'm sure it helped a lot. But my brother was a soccer player, and he has crazy engine also. So yeah, maybe it's because of the sports we played. Maybe we are just genetically like that. Like we both have great engines, but we are not that strong. So maybe it's genetics. Maybe it's the sports we played. I really can't tell.
Have you seen your engine get that much better since you started CrossFit, or is it just the same engine but stronger?
I got much stronger engine since I started CrossFit, because that's the part of CrossFit that I enjoy the most. I really don't like lifting weights. If there's something I can throw out of CrossFit, it would be weightlifting. But yeah, it's fun for everybody, and I need to work on it, so you can't go around.
Why don't you like the weightlifting? That's interesting. I've heard that before. And I've told this story before, but Chris Spieler, one of the things he liked about CrossFit as opposed to wrestling is that in CrossFit, there's no one stopping you from doing what you want to do. But then I think he had taken it even further, and he preferred the events without the weights too, because then it's just your body. You don't have anything trying to stop you, and you can just go. It's all just you. Is that the reason why, or is there something about weightlifting you don't like?
It's too hard on the body. If you want to get stronger, it needs to hurt. You need to do it every day, and it's just it's not easy. You need to learn technique. You need to be sharp with your technique. You need to do it often. You need to do it maybe a couple times a day to get stronger. So it's maybe I just have a bad experience. But yeah, you just need to suffer with lifting to get stronger. That's how I jumped, like a lot of. That's how I made myself stronger, I would say.
Do you like bench press?
Yeah, I do everything.
Yeah, right. That's not even weightlifting for a CrossFitter. That's just resting. Isn't that funny? Should we move on to the next event number 6?
Yep.
Or do you just want to skip over this because you got capped?
Which one is that?
We definitely should not skip this one.
Oh yeah, those are the cleans.
The running with the cleans. And we kind of already know, some people have been, other athletes have talked about it. We talked about it on here, is they set the first workout as 6-minute time cap, and very few men were able to beat the cap. And then
will you tell us what the workout is? Sorry, Brian. Will you tell us what the workout is? Event 6.
It was a 200-meter run, and then an increasing weight clean ladder. It was one clean, and then you go for another rear bar, one clean, go back for the run 5 times. And then event 7 was supposed to be the same format with.
Okay.
And in the first heat of the men do this workout, anyone who knows what's going on realizes, wow, this time cap is very aggressive. Like, not very many people are going to be able to finish. The end of all the men going is that there were 15 guys in the exact same situation. As come in back from the run, and they were looking at the barbell for the last, and the time cap hit. 15 guys who got the exact same score won. They weren't all awarded the same number of points. Break built in, and I actually don't know what it was. It was never advertised by CrossFit, and I was wanting to ask Lazar what that tie break was. 14th out of 15th of those guys that all had.
Yeah.
So wait a second, just to be clear. So in the standings, it says he took 22nd, but what you're saying is it was a multiple way tie for 15th place, and somehow he got 22nd, and you're trying to figure out why.
No, it was tie for 9th.
Sorry, 9th. And now we're trying to figure out why did you get 22nd. Okay. Am I understanding that right, Brian? We're trying to figure
Yes.
out how you finish 9th and you get 22nd. Okay. Sorry, Lazar. Go ahead.
The main reason why I want him to explain this is because he lost 38 points relative to the guy who finished 9th and did the same number of amount of work as him, and those 38 points would have been enough to move him up one spot by the end of the weekend.
Rookie of the year. Rookie of the year. How close?
No, Mel O'Brien got 7th.
Oh,
Mel
damn.
O'Brien got 7th.
Damn.
So
Damn.
still wouldn't be rookie of the year.
All right. I'll keep it tally. That's 38 bullshit points.
Well,
it's $3,000 more for one spot up.
Cha-ching. That's more food for your wife's refrigerator or your girlfriend's refrigerator to cook for you.
Exactly. So yeah, that event, everybody had different information of what the tie break was. So what I understood was tie break is the time that you touch the last bar, or if you don't lift it, it's the time that you touch the last bar. And later, it was announced that the tie break was time when you lifted the second to last bar. So how I did the workout is I knew I will not lift the last bar, but I know I will lift everything until that point because it was pretty easy. And I would have been able to lift the last one, but it was just not enough time. So how I did it, I tried to keep my runs fast and clean first 3 bars, not even setting up. I just cleaned it. And for the 4th bar, I just didn't want to miss that one. So I took a little bit of time, and that was a mistake because when I went inside my lane, I took a chalk, put on a belt, get ready not to miss the lift, and it was not a lift that I usually miss. It was just regular lift. I wouldn't been able to lift it even faster, but I just wanted to make it good lift and then sprint to the last bar because I knew I had about 55 seconds to run the 200 meters and touch this last bar, and I know I'm able to do this. So I lifted the bar, dropped my belt, and sprinted as fast as I could, and then touched the last bar. Actually, some guys knew they will not lift the last bar, so they just ran easily, and I took most of them from while I was running, and I touched the last bar before them, but then they came and touched it like almost at the last second. So even if I touched the bar first, I got lower place because they lifted the 4th bar faster, and then they ran easier, and I sprinted. So it wasn't really. I don't know how to. I don't know. It was.
So you didn't know where the finish line is. So basically, you went into that race not knowing where the finish line is.
Exactly. If I knew, I would. So basically, some guys didn't know also, so they lifted the 4th bar and just walked the rest of the way or jogged really easily. And if you touch the bar and the finish line are two. It's 1 point. So if you finish the bar, you get cap. But if you don't finish it, you get cap +1.
Correct.
So some guys didn't even try to touch or lift the last bar because they were thinking everybody will get the same amount of points. So it was pretty confusing for everybody. What's the point system and what's the where everybody will place. And then I see myself on 9th place, and I'm like, top 10 for lifting event. I will take it any day. And after maybe 10 minutes, I see 22nd, and I went to file an appeal for this one. They're like, no, it's just the tie break got changed.
Brian, I have a quick question, Brian, before you say something.
Maybe I confused you a little bit, but I'm sure no. Brian understands.
So it looks like it's a 14-way tie It looks like there's 14 people who got cap 1. What
Yes.
you're saying is that you got to the 4th bar and you thought it was touching the 5th bar that was going to end the race for you, and so you were just chilling. So you kind of got the worst possible. On one hand, you can say, well, it was the same for everybody, so everyone like got screwed the same way, but for you, it's really bad because it's the worst possible outcome for you. You're the lowest. Tim Paulson's the only one who did worse than you in placement who got a cap +1.
Yes.
Do you think you would have beat all those guys?
No, I wouldn't beat all of them, but I think I would place at least 15th if I knew what was happening.
Damn.
Well, but
I think
Did anyone know? Did anyone know, or was everyone confused?
I think everybody was confused. I'm not sure. Maybe it was just me, but I know Luka had the same problem. So, yeah. And we actually didn't have the same coach, which means that our coach, like one coach, didn't get confused. So it was
right. It sounds like they changed the rules once they saw Brian. Is that what we're hearing? That they basically changed the rules? Can we speculate that they changed the finish line after the event was over?
Well, I mean, look, this honestly has been an issue all season in different events at different stages of the season, is where there's a briefing of some kind of a rule for an event, and then in the middle of the event, it seems like, or event organizers realize, oh no, there's something that's I think was going to happen, and then they make a decision to address that afterwards. And I don't think that should ever be able to happen. You have to brief what you brief, and regardless of what happens on the competition floor, you have to stick to what you briefed. Now, in the case of the CrossFit Games, and Sevan and I have talked about this a couple times during the game, because Dave tests these events so late and he makes all these tweaks up to the last minute, a lot of times there's details about the events that the viewing audience doesn't know. And so we are only left at the mercy of asking the athletes, what were you guys briefed on this? What was the standard for that? What was the tiebreak that you were told? Something like this from the athletes, this is what concerns me, is if you don't tell, if you don't want to tell everyone else, fine. But whatever, athletes better be really clear and well understood so that they can execute 30 seconds before they can take that information and execute based on relevant information. And if half the people that are doing it think one thing and half think the other thing, then we don't actually have the opportunity to use the combination of the and their strategy to execute the best given the rules that are in play.
Let me be even more specific. Who cares what they think if they're being told different things? Like if the athletes are confused, fuck them. But if they're confused because they were told two different things, like if half the heat thinks it's touch the 5th bar and half the heat, or if half the heat is told touch the 5th bar and half the heat is told it's the 4th bar, we got a problem.
So there were 2 times actually. The time you touched the last bar and the time you lifted the previous bar. So those are 2 different times. I beat BKG and Yone touching the last bar, but they beat me on lifting the 4th bar. So it was.
So the good thing is that they had actually a variety of different checkpoints to the workout. So that after you lifted bar 4, you have a split time. And then after you get back and touch the 5th bar, you have a separate split time. But if some group of athletes was told that in that case, the split time is touching bar 5 as opposed to cleaning bar 4, that's where the comes in. Because otherwise, Lazar would have approached bar 4 completely differently. He would have said, you know what, even if I miss it once, I'll belt up and chalk up and make sure I hit it. But because this might be the difference spots on the leaderboard, I'm going to go for this one.
Lazar, I know you're not putting blame on anyone and you're not making excuses, so I feel bad asking this question. But were you briefed inappropriate? Were you briefed wrongly? Is it because you weren't listening, or did something happen?
To be honest, I really don't know. I really don't remember. It was ever like the whole games for me now are just a blur, and I just remember some stuff that stayed in my mind. So
you remember the podcast you did with Brian and I?
Sure. How can I forget that?
I wish I could pronounce her name right. Iona Holloway or Lona Holloway. She has beautiful hair. She looks like her profile picture looks like she's on ecstasy. Thank you both for being so good at what you do. And she gave $100. Thank you. That is awesome. And I apologize for not knowing if that's an L or an I.
I think it's an I.
So it's Iona.
Yeah.
Brian sounds like he's in a parking garage elevator. He is in a parking garage elevator. Good guess.
Sevan, you've outed me.
It's not the first time. Shall we move on to the second event?
Yeah.
Or
So
to
we.
the, sorry,
Yeah.
to the
So we.
seventh event.
So event 7, and we know that between when the men finished and started event 7, they changed that event. So they run and extended the time cap, hoping that more people would be able to. And it turns out that you were actually able. That's surprising for you?
Actually, it was. At the warm up, I felt really weak, and the first bar was 325, and I warmed up until 325. I didn't want to go for more, and I cleaned it like maybe three to five times in the warm up, and I missed it once. And I think I missed it last attempt, so it wasn't really
Perfect.
really a great boost before coming to the floor. And also, I'm not really good with lifting while I'm cold. I like to lift while I'm under fatigue, while I'm doing something else. So yeah, when you get to corrals, you have like 10 minutes to wait, and then you need to go. They need to call out your name to go on the floor. Like, you have 15 minutes of not doing anything. So yeah, I was like, if I clean the first bar, I'm golden. So yeah,
How
my
crazy
focus
is
was
that?
just on the first one.
How crazy! I've never even deadlifted 325.
It's heavy.
I know I deadlifted 315. I think when I was in my 30s for like a set of 15 once, but for some reason I could never deadlift more than that. And I don't get me wrong, I tried. That's crazy that you have to come out there and clean 325, and that's the light bar. That is insane. And then start sprinting.
And what was even more surprising for me, when I finished it, I'm like, this is great. I will have a great position here. It's 350. It's 160 kilos. And you get 26th for lifting 160 kilos. I mean, come on.
So that's what the bars went to. It went from 325 to 350.
So it was basically 147 kilos to 160. So yeah, jump every bar 3 kilos or 5 pounds. I don't know.
You know what's funny is there's athletes who've been around for 10 years who lift in kilos, and they've been games athletes for 10 years, and they still don't know the conversion. And then there's people like me who've been talking about it for 15 years and don't know the conversion. But you're killing it. You know both. You speak both languages.
Well,
you're
I
media
was
darling.
working in Kuwait, and there's only rogue equipment, so I was lifting only in pounds.
Gotcha. So it's kind of bittersweet. You finished the event, but you're not happy with your placement. You're like, holy shit!
I was so happy with that event because 160 is my clean PR. So I basically lifted my PR at the competition floor after so many events, and I was last guy on the floor, but that's my number one moment from the games for sure, because I was alone at the floor, and everybody was watching me, and the guys that I compete against were at the finish line, and they're like, "Come on!" I know they cheer for you when you're behind them, but still, it was nice, and I was like firing up the crowd, and everybody was cheering, and I was just trying to get that rush from the crowd and lift the last bar. And when I pulled it, I'm like, if that was 170 kilos, I would lift it, because it felt so easy, So
Really? Did it feel easier than the first bar? Did 350 feel easier than 325? And he's frozen. Say that one more time. Sorry, Lazar. You froze. I froze? No, you froze. Lazar, it was the 350 easier than the 325?
yes, it was easier than like 325. You're cold and you're lost in your heat, so there's not much energy. Like there's not adrenaline for that one. You're just I pray to lift it.
I have a question for Brian. Go ahead, Brian.
No, just those moments are like you can't plan for those moments, and we know from watching the games that something like that happens for some athlete, and it's like the crowd lifts the weight for them somehow that they wouldn't have done it in any other scenario. It's pretty cool that one that you got to at the games, and two that you also, despite it was one of your worst event finishes, but it's still one. That's really cool to hear.
Yes, you can't imagine. First time when I went to the Colosseum with wall walks and thrusters, crowd was roaring so hard that I felt like floor at the Colosseum was shaking. And that was so scary.
I don't think people have any idea how loud it gets in the Coliseum. I've been to a bunch of really loud places, and man, is it loud in there. It's deafening. I have a question for you, Brian, and then a question for Lazar. Are you surprised that Cole Sager didn't finish that? Here he is, a crazy, such a high respected veteran, and he finished. He didn't make the cap. Are you shocked? Is he injured?
Well, surprised that he didn't finish the ladder. Yeah.
The end. That's the end.
Well, with what's going on, there's all kinds of little things that the week. Vellner said that he was in a previous event, so it was very difficult for him to commit to a squat clean. Then he went to use the bathroom. He did a lot better in the next event. So he never on weekend where he had some performances that seemed really out of characteristic on the bad end, but then he'd come back and do you might have expected him to do well on. So I haven't spoken to him, so I'm not too sure. But in general, I would have expected him to clean the ladder. Yeah.
Did you drop a deuce between event 6 and 7, Lazar?
Probably.
That's awesome. I didn't know Vellner did that. I didn't know he dropped a deuce. I knew that he was like concerned he might shit himself out there, which would have been amazing. But the thing is we would have never known at home because the broadcast cameras would have been too scared to capture the greatest moment in CrossFit Games history. But that's cool that he was able to vacate. My question for you, Lazar, is when you see how your brother did in that workout, is that hard for you? I know you love your brother to death, and I know you guys are crazy close. Is that hard on the weekend for you? Does that fuck with you? Like, because you're trying to you guys are both trying. You're there for him too emotionally.
Yeah, it was hard for me whenever he struggled in a workout. Especially I was next to him in a workout that I won, and I knew he's better runner than me, and he just couldn't perform to his best abilities due to spasm in his lower back that he got in event. I don't know, day before. I think this is the last event of the day, the snatches and echo bike. He did something to his back, and he wasn't able to run. But when you see it, like you can't help him. You can't help yourself. Just stay focused. At that time, of course it's hard, but I have to do my stuff. He's doing his stuff the best he can. So yeah, and it wasn't that he wasn't able to lift it. He lifted more than that often, and he struggled through the season with his meniscus, and he torn his meniscus and still qualified for the games. So yeah, it wasn't really, as I said, you go cold to this bar, and he just wasn't sure something will not pop, So it was, he wanted to make sure he if he lifts it, he will lift it as good as he can, not to do anything to his knee or to hurt himself. So yeah, I think it was, he tried a couple of times, but he didn't make it. So yeah, it was okay. I knew it wasn't his greatest event, but yeah.
Because I watch my three boys, and if one of them gets hurt, like the other day, one of them fell into like a 12-foot pool at a skate park, and my oldest son just stopped everything he was doing and jumped down in there and slid into the pool. It was crazy. And if another boy at the park one time took my older boy's bike, and the little one just went over there and grabbed the bike while the boy was on it and pulled him off. And I'm just like, I don't see these behaviors from them. Normally they're so calm and sweet and like gentle, and like, you know, they're all just like little babies to me. But I see that when one of them is struggling, the other two will come to the rescue. Or if I yell at one of the boys, the other two will come and be like, "Why are you yelling at him?" Like, start questioning me, interrogating me. And so when I saw that, I was like, "Oh man, I wonder if Lazar wants to go in there and just punch someone out, or pull the weights off for his brother or something." Like, it's just hard watching someone you love so much struggle.
Of course, it's hard. Yeah, I remember at some competition that he was doing in Austria. He was first. The competition was 3 days, and he was first for 2 days. It was big competition with some games athletes back then, and he was doing really good. He was first for the whole 2 days, and then on the third day, semifinals of the competition, he just lost it. He couldn't do handstand push-up or something, and I just started crying for him. So yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, you brothers, man, you guys are crazy.
Especially if you do the same thing and you know how hard he works, and yeah, it hits differently.
I thought you were gonna say something, Brian. Are you? Before I switch to the next workout?
No.
Okay.
The next
Stretch
one.
it out good, because I'm gonna take a pee break. We're in event number 8.
Yeah. Individual event 8 was the handstand walk course, and they'd shown on Instagram one traverse of the floor, parallettes, ramp, stairs, everything that was involved. I had a suspicion that wasn't the entire workout. Prepared for the down and back, or did that catch you off guard?
No. When boss briefed it, he said, "So you guys need to walk one direction and then come back the other direction to the finish line." And I understand. Okay, so we started the finish line, we run to the end, and we walk on our hands back. So it's one time, and briefing is done. I'm like, "Boss, are we doing it 2 times, or we need to run and do it just once?" No, you guys are doing it 2 times. Come on. So yeah, it was.
Yeah, and how close to when the event started did he tell you guys that information?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, yeah. Well, I had a suspicion that might happen. But so it gives you very little time to prepare. You're prepared for one thing in your mind. You have 5 minutes before you need to compete or get ready to compete. Mentally deal with a situation like that.
For everybody was the same, so I didn't really think too much of it. I just tried to warm up as good as I can and make my shoulders. And I had the problem with my right wrist, and I was struggling on the wall walks and on the handstand push-up, freestanding handstand push-ups, and also the handstand walk. So I taped it really, really hard, just to I know the obstacles were soft, and if you go through them, your wrist will take some hit, because it's soft, and you drop inside that mat or whatever it is. So yeah, I taped it as hard as I could. I warmed up properly, but I didn't know there were obstacles in the warm-up area. Actually, I made plates, and I was just walking over the plates, and then Travis Mayer was hit before me, and he went to the cross, and he's like, "Man, do you know there's obstacles there?" I'm like, just sprinted to the obstacles, and because I'm so out of breath when I went to the obstacles, I missed every attempt. Every attempt I tried, I missed, and I was sure I'm not going to pass the first pilots, because pilots were first obstacle, and it is the hardest. If you make that one, you'll make all the rest of the obstacles. So yeah, they were just, Lazar, you need to go. I was in third heat back then because I dropped significantly after the cleans. That was the only event I did not in the last heat.
That's right. And we want to talk about that later. We want to talk about that later on, actually. After that.
I'd also like to mention Travis Mayer was the star of that story.
Yeah, Travis is a good guy. And yeah, when I went to the floor, something just clicked, and from my first attempt, I went over all the obstacles, and just at the last parts, I missed it once or twice, and then I went over it. I missed it just because my shoulders were tired, not because I had problem with my handstand or because that was hard obstacle. I just went because I would have fallen on my nose if I didn't stop. So yeah, it was okay. If you see the footage, I'm so happy after that one. So yeah, a good finish for me.
When you stopped, do you freak out?
No.
Like you don't start like looking around going, "Oh shit, I can't believe." No.
Yeah. I actually thought Noah's judge did something wrong because he went over the obstacle, and because I was racing Noah the whole time, and he dropped after the obstacle and went back and just finished the ramp and went over. I'm like, he's not supposed to do the ramp only, and I'm telling this to my judge. I didn't know he went over the line, and I got my breath while I was watching Noah and just finished. I didn't realize there's a yellow line immediately after the ramp, so you can't place your hands anywhere other than the ramp. So if you stop after the ramp, you will need to go and do the ramp only, and then finish the course.
Yari Kanan. Boy, that's a name. I'm gonna need help with that. Gave us 5 of something. My tiny donation to the podcast with great vibe. Great vibe, as BKG would say. 5 something, €5. Here's an interesting one for you, Lazar. One thing I noticed is that the European athletes versus the American ones, there's less griping about the events.
What that means?
Basically, and I wouldn't say the American ones, I would say the North American ones. Basically, that the North Americans whine about the events more, and that the Europeans are more like introspective and trying to figure out what they can do, so that they're focused on their weaknesses, and that the North American, the event not being good, they're blaming Dave instead of themselves.
I mean, there's such a big difference between American athletes and European athletes. Like, with my next season, I want to become more of a stronger athlete, and I think I will need to rethink of how I'm approaching my training, because North Americans are much stronger than Europeans, and Europeans are much better conditioned, and they have better aerobic base. So yeah, I would want to go to that other side a little bit to maybe take some notes, or we'll see.
Is that a fair generalization, Brian, that the Europeans are metabolically seem to have generally more conditioning, and that the North Americans are stronger?
I mean, I have stop, but just thinking about the guys that are in the field from Europe this year, like we know that BKG has won Murph at the games, Yoniko as well on the longer swimming and running events. Lazar won a running event this year. His brother's obviously a good runner.
And Guy,
he's not European.
Oh, Guy was, yeah, he's South American, and And he won the lifting event.
Yeah.
That guy is strong.
Yeah.
I was competing against him at Elfit 2018, or it was Egypt competition in Egypt. He snatched 150.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't competing against him. He was in team. Sorry, he was in team.
But you saw him.
I saw him. Like everybody was, come here, guys. This guy will snatch a lot. And I'm like, sure, let's see. And he snatched 100.
And his form was so different than everyone else's. I mean, his technique was like, he didn't even look like everyone else. He looked totally different. It didn't even look
Sevan,
like
you know how much is 150 kilos?
325 pounds.
It's 147. 330 is.
Oh.
Yeah, but you're close. I thought you don't know.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for trying to call me out on my own podcast. I appreciate it. I should have gone with it and been like 135 pounds. It's 2.2, right? 2.2 kilos.
Yeah, 2.2. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. My dad's from Lebanon, so he made me learn all that stuff. I'm first generation on my dad's side, so I know some of that kilo stuff. Should we move on to event number 9?
Yeah, so event 9 was the 21:15.9 Echo Bike Calories and Power Snatch 115. And in my opinion, not knowing really what it's like to be a CrossFit Games athlete, this looks like the most painful workout to me of the weekend, because it's basically how bad do you want to hurt. There's nothing.
It was.
Just how hard do you want to push on the bike, and are you going to and just suffer. And when I look at your placement in this particular workout, it's kind of fascinating to me. There's 7 guys within 10 ahead of you and 8 guys within 10 seconds behind you. So you're basically like right in the middle there. But take us through, like, what's the mindset preparing, of that group of guys, right?
I think there's Baden Brown just a second behind me.
Yeah, I mean, it was really tight. There were a few guys within a few seconds of you ahead of you, and a few guys within a few seconds behind you. But what's the mindset like going into a workout like that when you know it's just gonna be, how bad do I want to hurt?
It was exactly like that. You're asking yourself that same question: how bad do you want this? And Luca was going before me, and to be honest, I was scared to death. Like, nobody wants to hurt that much, but you need to push as hard as you can. And Luca is going off the competition floor, and I'm like, how was the workout? And what can he tell me? He just told me, you don't feel it. You don't feel it. Push as hard as you can. I'm like, you sure you don't feel it? Yeah. And he's like, I should have gone faster on the 21. Okay.
Oh man.
And I slammed it really bad in the 21 and 20. I did everything. I'm working full workout, and I just couldn't pace it better. I did everything to the best of my abilities. It was the place where I belonged in this one. So after the event, it was hurting so bad. Like the round of 15, you feel it. Believe me, it's. I think it's the same amount, almost the same amount of time for 21 calorie and 15 calories, because 21 calorie you're fresh, you will start really fast, and then 15 you will like, I need to go 15, 9 and 9 again to finish. So I'm just at the half of the workout. So it was 15, you feel it really bad, but after the 15 snatches, you're just like, I'm done, and you're just full send.
Do you take even a 1 second break? Like, as you get on the bike, are you like, do you feel your body like dilly-dallying a little bit and like fooling around to try to get a breath or two, or is it you can't even do that?
No, I was breathing really good in this one. It was just my legs and shoulders. After the 21 bike, I got the jelly legs. So I did everything with my back. Oh yeah.
Damn.
This is one of those workouts where I always athletes after the workout. Some of them look terrible, like it's really, really painful. You were laying on your back, but 2 seconds of finishing the workout, you were smiling. Remember this?
I remember that I did that with thrusters and wall walks, but for the this one I really don't remember. But I knew I was in the race with Baden Brown, and I beat him by a second or two. And I just wanted to. He knew he's in race with me, and I knew I was in race with him. So I just wanted to give him hand. So yeah, good job. He made me push harder because Noah went faster than me. He was left to me, and Baden was right. So yeah, I was just trying to keep up with him, and he was maybe two, or I wouldn't say two, but one rep in front of me on the last snatches, and I just muscled it all the way, and I beat him to the line. So yeah, I remember I stand up just to congratulate and say good job.
Did you get any no reps on that workout?
No.
Because and I guess the problem with no reps, the most common place would be that you lower the bar before your hip and your knees are straight, before your hips open and your knees are open.
No, I was okay with that. Even though I was penalized in the open for the same thing. Open 19.1, I think it was snatches and burpees, 10 rounds, 8 burpees, 12 snatches, or something like this. And I got penalized for this one. And it was my lowest open finish that year, even though I was the fittest at that point of my life. So yeah, I didn't get any no reps.
If you would have been just no rep, one rep, you may have lost to Baden Brown.
Yes.
Yeah, amazing. It's kind of weird. I know we need judges, but it's also kind of scary to think that hey, one no rep would have changed.
Yeah, and it changed a lot in event number 11.
We'll get to there. You're chomping. He's chomping at the bit. Lazar's chomping at the bit. Well, let's celebrate a little bit before we get to event number 11 and talk about event number 10.
Oh, hold on. So
yes,
event 9 ends, and they're going to make the first round of cuts. At what point do you finally find out for sure that you obviously you knew you had made the cut, and then what was that like for you guys? Was that a good?
Yeah, Luca is strange with some stuff. He sometimes knows stuff. Like when he lifted 11 snatches at semifinals for this snatch workout, he went to the camera, and it was not even the final event of the competition. And he went to the camera and said, "See you in Madison."
Oh wow!
That's just crazy.
Wow.
So, yeah, and after this one, he went before me, as I said, and I asked him, "Did you do enough?" He said, "I did enough." So yeah, I was sure for him that he made it at this point.
So then you guys have that night, and you have for the last round of cuts, and it's a workout that his physical both of you guys think you can do pretty well on this one coming into.
Yeah, I found Pat Wellner and asked him for shoes. Give me some Reeboks, bro.
Did you ask him personally, or you text him, or what happened? You asked him.
No, I found him after the event. I'm like, I'm going to win the event tomorrow. Hook me up with some shoes.
Is that really how you phrased it?
Yeah.
And what did he say?
He said, "No way, Chandler Smith is going to beat you."
Really? Wait, what was the event? No, that's not Chandler Smith's event. What was the event? Was he joking?
Running. I don't know. He said Chandler Smith is going to beat you. But he was nice about it. He said, "Sure, I'm going to hook you up with shoes," but he said Chandler is going to beat you.
And what Reeboks did you get? What was it? Nanos?
I got two pairs. I got Nanos and Forever Runner or Float Runner. Not sure.
And which one did you use?
Those runner shoes that I got.
The Flow
and that
Runner.
was the first time I was wearing them.
Were they comfortable?
Yeah, they were actually pretty comfortable.
And what's the deal with that? Is it okay to wear new shoes, break-in shoes for the first time for an event?
Like, it's not smart to wear running shoes for the event first time.
Because they're
Like,
too narrow, or
you can get blisters from them if they're new shoes and your foot is not used to them. So
did you get a hot spot?
no, I was perfectly fine.
That's awesome. That's incredible. And when you won that event, you were
Wait, hold on. Because it's more. I think it was more than just an event win. Like, you weren't leading for the majority of the event, and you only
No.
overtook Baden Brown at the very end. So what can you, like, going into the last round, or when you're coming back to do the last set of toes to, what's your mindset there?
I just paced that event perfectly because some guys went too hot, and I think some of the guys, even though they're veterans, they start too hot, just as I did for my ski. Like, you just can't run slower. Like, it's carrying you. You're running and it feels good, but at some point it's 25 minutes event. It's 22-3 minutes event. I'm not sure. And at some point you lose that adrenaline rush, and you're hit with reality. Oh, I have 15 minutes left, so it's you just needed to pace it right. I was carrying my watch all the time, and I knew what pace I need to hit to do good in this one. So yeah, I was trying to keep that pace. And
it didn't even look like you really had. I mean, Baden Brown was so far out ahead, right? I know you said that you told Pat Vellner you were going to win the race, but was there any time during the race where you're like, oh, I guess I'm not winning this?
First run, everybody was so much in front, and yeah, but I knew I was at good position in the North Park. So when we are running, like, there's 30 lines, and I was, let's say, lane number 5, and Baden Brown, I knew he was at the end. I would say he's lane 30, and not 30, maybe 22, 23. So I know he has like 50 meter more to run. So I know it's not that big of a difference. If he's 60, 70 meters in front, it's maybe 10 seconds, not 10 seconds, 5 seconds. So yeah, I just knew he will have longer to run, and I will catch him to the bar, and it will just be who does these toes to bars unbroken. So yeah.
Did you know you were going to do the last set of toes to bar unbroken?
For sure. Yeah. If it was 40 reps, I would still do all 3 unbroken.
Yeah, and so you never felt like you were going to come off the bar. You didn't have to push to the red line on the toes to bar.
No. Toes to bar were just a breather for me. I was doing them, and I was trying to get my breath and continue running.
Do you think that for that level of athlete at the games, the cycle rate of toes to bar matters? Like, can you cycle them faster if you need to?
Yeah, you can cycle them pretty fast. Like, my cycle rate is, I would say, it's a little bit slower than the average because I'm a bigger guy. But if it was 10 rounds of 5 reps, you can pull your legs under you faster and then make it faster. I think that's how Fikowski does it.
I think Sam Briggs does that better than anyone. I mean, she's so fast on toes to bar, even in big sets. Yeah. It's really impressive.
Yeah, but yeah, toes to bars are my best movement. Also, I won event 10 also at Dubai. That they gave $10,000 prize for the event, 60 calories echo bike and 60 toes to bar. So yeah, I won that one, and I know toes to bars are good for me, but this was not about toes to bars. It was at the end, but it was mostly running.
Did you do those 60 toes to bar unbroken in Dubai?
No, I did 48, and then dropped, did one more set, and then I finished at 59, and I dropped from the bar at 59 and just do one more, and I jumped and do one more and win it.
Wow.
It was kind. that actually wasn't the end. It was the end of like one workout, but then there was more work to do. I remember watching and
Yes.
we were like,
And
oh,
they s- and they
going to win the
said
toes to bar.
and they said if you don't finish the second, like the workout after this one, you don't get those 10,000. So like, just go and finish the next one.
Did you get the $10,000 from Reebok yet?
No, they contacted me, but I still didn't get them like on my account.
Do you think you're gonna get it?
Yeah, for sure.
What if they ship you? What if they do something crazy, like instead give you 100 free pairs of shoes?
You sell 100 pairs of shoes for $105, so you have a little bit more.
How we do in Serbia? I open shoe store. I open shoe
Gangster.
store. Yeah, I love it. This guy just said something ridiculous. Lukey, this is why the Echo bikes are superior to the assault bikes. He must be talking about the last. There was not, what are you talking about? The Echo bikes are not as good as the assault bikes. The assault bike feels way more like a bicycle than the Echo bike. The Echo bike is a bastardization of the bicycle. Always get the assault bike.
I actually like Echo bike
Oh damn.
better. If I would choose one, I would choose Echo
Oh,
because
why is that?
it's just more comfortable to sit on. It's like there's not a chain there, so you don't need to like make anything with it. It just self it keeps itself good, I think. Or yeah, it's sturdier. If you do sprint, you can't move the bike. If it's assault, you just wiggle
You
from
rock
one
back
side
forth.
to another.
Well, maybe I don't pedal it hard enough to make it wiggle, but that's why I like the assault bike. I prefer the chain because it feels more like a bicycle, and maybe I just like having my ass punished, and that's why I like the rougher seat on the assault bike. But that's a whole different podcast.
I like how Brian reacted to that one.
Wow.
Brian's
I would say,
go ahead.
I think if you're buying a bike for your own home, for any of them really, but if you want to get something used by a lot of people over a long period of time, I would probably go with the Echo bike just because it's more sturdy.
And the assault bike's easier to move around, isn't it? I remember moving Echo bikes around the gym, and they're a little more work. Maybe not for a strong man like yourself, Lazar, but for a little weakling old man like me, little Armenian man.
Come on, you can do jujitsu and
Jiu-jitsu.
some other stuff.
Echo is always better than assault bike. Assault bike is for scrawny CrossFitters. Well, Yandy. Assault bike also makes an Assault Bike Pro, which I think is just as robust as the Echo bike. And it's my podcast, so I will get the last word. Congratulations on winning that event. Are you excited? Do you feel proud of yourself? Is there anything that you carry over from winning an event at the CrossFit Games? Is that an important achievement to have under your belt, or is it like, fuck it, I just want to get on the podium?
Well, everybody needs to win the whole thing, but for me this year it just wasn't realistic, and I was really proud of myself, especially that I did good in this one, that I won this one. So running was actually one of my bigger weaknesses starting, because I was swimming all the time. I never ran in my life, so yeah, it was pretty good that it became a strength.
Really?
Who are you talking to, Brian? I heard you just say really. Do you know that we're on a podcast and the whole world just heard you say that out loud?
Is Lazar?
I'm here.
Lazar? Yeah, Lazar's here. He's just to your right. He's wearing a yellow shirt. He's got a nice smile.
Well, I just lost the ability to hear you guys for like 30 seconds and had a message pop up on the screen that I've never seen.
Oh, like a warning? Like, hey, dipshit, when are you getting your new computer? Like, did it say that?
Yeah, that's what it said. And I
Brian,
can't
when do you
see
get your...
or hear Lazar.
Oh, shit. When do you get your new computer, Brian? Oh. Lazar's kind of like fading in and out a little bit, but I can hear him great.
Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Definitely not.
You can't see him or
Really?
hear him?
No.
Okay.
Come on, Brian. I'm here.
Event, but you can hear me and I can hear Lazar.
Yeah, but I think I'm going to try something here that I might have to leave and come back.
Okay. And you did great on event number 11 too, but this is the one.
Oh, this is the one everybody talks about. It's not the one that I won. They talk about number 11.
So it's bittersweet for you, right? You took
Yeah.
second place amongst the 40 fittest men in the world. You got 271 reps. You beat the guy in third place by 10 reps, who was Björgvin Karl Gudmundsson. But you were beat by Cole Sager.
Yesterday,
Yeah,
he called me Luca on the podcast. He wanted to say my name, but he said my brother's name. So, yeah, come on, BK. Really?
Maybe you should start calling him Annie Thor's daughter instead of Björgvin. Get him confused with another Icelander. So that workout, tell me about that workout. It was the pegboard. What were the movements?
Pegboard, overhead squat with single arm overhead squat with dumbbell and heavy double unders. It was 11 minutes arm up, one peg, 7 dumbbell overhead squats, change hand each time, change arm each time, and 15 heavy double unders, heavy rope.
And what does that mean, a heavy rope?
It's Rogues, Zeus rope, I think it's called, and it's much heavier than the regular one. If you hit yourself with that one, there's a sting, like it leaves a mark.
So it's not just the handles that you hold on to that are heavy. Those are heavy, but also the rope is heavier?
Also the rope is heavier.
What is the rope made of?
I think it's some kind of...
is it a steel cable?
It's steel cable, and there's a plastic around.
So you could wrap that around someone's neck and easily kill them.
Easily. You can kill somebody with a handle.
I love it. Good. I'm glad I brought that up as an explanation. To describe the rope, it is a weapon. So, did you plan on winning this workout?
No, I knew I'm going to do good in this one because I do a lot of peg and my mobility is good for the overhead squat with dumbbell. So yeah, I knew I'm going to do good, and my lungs are good for this 11 minutes. I knew I will not slow down. So yeah, I knew it's a good one for me.
And you didn't just get no rep, but there was a discussion you were having with your judge.
Yeah, you can see on the whole broadcast while I was in the shot, I was arguing with the judge the whole time. I was talking to the judge full 11 minutes and also talking to my coach at the stand. So yeah.
Could you see that, insane. Brian, when you were there?
No, this I was laid out. They didn't ever. The athletes never progressed down the floor, and they were just pinned into that one corner. And I just a really good seat in general. It was bad for that, for his lane, because he was in the lane closest to me, or one of the two lanes. But a friend of mine that I met at that event, and he goes, "Man, Lazar just got." His judge was making him do extra double unders every time. He was no reps, and he was trying to fix it. And Lazar told me that he was going to appeal the workout, but I don't think that anything ever happened.
How do you make friends, Brian? You said you made a friend at the games. You don't even hardly talk.
He watched this show, so that's how he knew me. Yeah.
And so he just comes up to you and he's like, "Hey, you want to be friends?" Like the way a 3-year-old does to my son at the park.
Okay, fine. I'll tell you, I guess. He had said hi to me and asked to take a picture or something. And then he messaged me on Instagram later that day, and I realized that this guy had about the show in the weeks leading up to the games. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me who you were? And then I didn't think you'd care. And I said, well, I do care. And then how about tomorrow? I said, I'm going to be over here at the finish line watching this event if you want to come say hi. And he did. And then we for me every other event so that we could do the podcast and I wouldn't lose a spot where I could actually see the field.
So you were using him for intel?
Yeah.
Because I understand how Lazar makes friends. I understand how the Dukic brothers make friends. They're outgoing, but I just can't see you I just don't see you as like the guy who makes new friends. All right, well that's cool. That's
You're
really
helping
cool.
me break out of my shell. Thank you, Sevan.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Actually, he came to me in Dubai, 2019, and he's like, Lazar, can we talk? Sure. I didn't know who, like who's Brian back then, and he's like, I'm a journal from Morning Chocolate. Do you want to like talk something about this event? Say something about this event? I'm like, sure, and then that's how I met.
Wow, I don't have you figured out at all, Brian. Jesus, this is going to be a long relationship we have.
I will say,
I
I
have a
will say
lot to
this.
learn about you. I have you in a cage, and it's totally unfair. I need to let you out.
When it comes to an athlete, I'm much more likely to approach an athlete who not enough people know about them yet. Them soon, like someone who's got some potential that hasn't been maybe yet, and that's how I felt about you a couple of years ago. That doesn't like I don't specifically remember this story, but it doesn't surprise me to hear that because I would be much less likely that everyone already knows during a competition.
Right. Smart. That's good for a fledgling podcast like ours. Start cultivating some of the newer talent. An investment into our future. Lazar, can you hear us? Because we can't see you.
I can see him.
I can see you both. I can't see you, Sevan, now.
Okay, that's fine. There's nothing worth looking at. Okay, so tell us about this discussion you had with the judge. What was the first? What happened? Why were you talking to him?
So first round, I did 16 double unders, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's a mistake. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe he gave me no rep or something. I have no idea. And then second round, I did 16. Oh.
Lazar? Check 1 2. Lazar? Sevan and Brian to Lazar. Here he comes. Lazar? Maybe his phone died. You see his recording button, his recording light on his phone vanished?
I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you are invited to be on this podcast, we urge you to please use a computer and use the Chrome browser and to have a good internet connection. Lazar is on his girlfriend's phone because he's an Android user. God knows why. Watch the comments fill up with the Android's better than the iPhone. I have an unrelated question. Does Lazar know of any water polo players that won a gold at the Olympics? Oh, that's a really broad question. Brian Friend is a friend to everyone. Man, Lazar's gone. Okay, well, I need to work out now anyway. It's 1 p.m. And we made it to event 11, which was going to be the most exciting event that Lazar talked about because it's one where he claims he was talking back and forth with the judge and his coach the entire time. And he took second place in it. And he probably could have gotten first. It sounds like there were some shenanigans going on. Most of the time, I don't believe the athletes when they tell me that it was the judge's fault. But this time, for some reason, I do believe Lazar. Thank you, Yandy. I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, it was, it was interesting to me that guy came and felt the need to tell me that. And then I asked him about it, Lazar about it. And he asked me if I had seen. He actually DM'd me and asked, and I said, no, I heard about it. I didn't see it. And he said, I said to him, yeah, you definitely should, but don't expect any. They're usually going to uphold the judging decision on the field unless there's something that's like blatant or egregious.
Yeah, I don't even know how you would protest that. I can't even imagine how that would work. Get Lazar back on. It's so weird. This interface shows that he's still on, but clearly he's not still on. Guys, I'm so sorry. Iona, what's her name? The generous lady who gave $100. Maybe we should send her money back. Do we know how to send money back? I don't think we can refund you. Shit. Damn. Iana Holloway, if you live in Chicago, you can come over to Brian's house and I'll make you dinner so you can get your money's worth. And he'll leave the house so you don't have to talk to him. Shit.
Me right now.
Okay. I bet you his.
He said
What'd he
let
say?
in. Let in. Maybe it means, maybe it means let me.
Tell him to click the link again. Matt Souza says, can't wait for Brian's new computer so we can hear him. Shit. I'm telling you guys, every day we are getting better and we are working on making this better and better. Brian ordered his computer a couple weeks ago. He got a fully loaded.
Last week.
He got a fully loaded Mac laptop, so hopefully it'll have the processing power to deal with this buffer issue. Those athletes have great internet connections. Oh, okay. There he is.
There.
And we're back. Holy shit. I was just about to hang up and go play with my kids.
Man, I was here when Brian said let in. I'm still here, guys. Let in, please.
I love it. Let me see. Are we still live? Because I can't see the.
I think so, because people just.
Yeah, my mom just sent me. They're waiting for you. Come on.
I love it. I'm gonna give my mom your phone number so she can yell at you too. Okay. So tell us about. Let's get back to the judge. So the first round, you kind of give him a pass because you kind of say, "Oh, maybe I counted wrong." And then what happened the second round?
Yeah, second round against 16 reps, and then my coach stands from the stands and he's like, "You're doing 16 reps," and he's showing me 16 reps, and then I realized, yeah, I'm actually doing 16 reps. This is third round, and I'm like, "Man, you're killing me!" Like, I'm doing 16 reps. He's like, "Okay, next round, do 15." Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm tripping that
good.
he would say that. Of course you're going to do 15 next round. That's how many you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and next round I do 15, and that's the one time that he brought me back. It was minute number 5, and if you go to the broadcast, it's exactly minute number 5, and you can count my double unders from the start. I do 15 reps, and I stop, and I go to the peg. And he's like, "No, come back. You need to do one more." And you can see me screaming or something. "Blah, blah, I did 15 reps." And I jump one more and come back. And then until the end, I did 16 reps because that guy couldn't count.
So every round, hey, that guy lost you that event.
Yeah.
Were you wearing Reeboks?
Yeah.
You don't. I got so when you're at home, and you know, I've never talked to other people about this, but when you're at home and you see an athlete get called back, it's worse than getting just called back. I imagine it's like if you're running and someone stops you and then you have to start running again. It's not that you just had to stop; you had to slow down, stop, and then you have to start going fast again. So there's a whole section in there that just gets completely ruined. By the way, I wanted to say effed up people, but I'm trying to reduce the number of F-bombs I dropped. Did you see that? See that? I said messed up. Right? I mean, it's so painful to watch you guys get called back. And then to hear you get called back for something that wasn't your fault. I mean, and I'm taking your word on it. Have you gone back and counted his reps, Brian?
Yeah. You can count.
I have not, but I have no reason not to believe him.
Oh, you should have never believe the athletes. Never believe the athletes.
I counted in slow motion just to be sure. So yeah, 15, and then 4 seconds to the peg, 4 seconds back, 8 seconds plus 1 additional rep. So in those 8 seconds, I could have done 5 double unders.
Yeah,
that's how much call was in front.
I do remember that when I saw you get called back, I go, "Oh shit, he just lost. He's not going to win the event because of that." I remember thinking that holy shit, what a disaster. Hey, Brian, you can never trust the athletes. Half these guys, especially your boy Patrick Vellner, could be the poster child for Kleenex. Sorry, Pat, but like, come on, man. I know you love the Dukic brothers, but
come on,
man.
Sevan, you know how to say it. You know how to say
Dukic brothers.
No, you were saying it correctly.
Dukic.
Dukic.
God, I almost swore again. Dukic. I'm doing too many things. I'm crunching ice and I'm reading comments and I'm trying to make fun of Pat Vellner. Catherine Schreerer, he did 16 every round. Hey, Catherine.
You can
If
call
you
her
would have put an
Cat.
exclamation, Cat,
Yeah.
Cat, if you would have put an exclamation point there, like you meant it, and like you were slapping me around, I would have believed you. But since you didn't use an exclamation point, I don't believe you either. But it's worth checking on people. Go back and watch the video because I guarantee you, if Lazar is accurate and he can count to 16, that is what cost him the event. And that is a shame that a judge cost you the event. That is a shame.
Yeah, I after it, I did an appeal, but boss was really nice about it, but he really didn't do anything. He just was nice and said, I can't play what ifs. Like, what if you tripped in those 8 seconds? What if you got tired and just stopped? Like, so actually at first they messed up my score even more because they put me they gave me 4 less double unders than it was written on my scorecard. So that was the only appeal they made. So they gave me 4 extra double unders that I actually did. So
Yeah, that's a shit show. I wonder what they do. I wonder if they talk to that judge. I wonder if Adrian, let's get Adrian on here and ask him what happens. Like after something like that happens, I mean, it's not a simple, it's a pretty big mistake. Wouldn't you say, Brian?
Yeah, I mean it's a few points. It's also a big amount of money.
A huge amount of money. And did you wear the same Reeboks that you wore in the running event, or did you switch them to the other ones?
I got nanos, so I was wearing nanos for this one.
Oh, good job. And has Reebok? Are they going to send you more shoes with that $10,000? I mean, you repped them good. And the story has a lot of miles
and the story,
on it. It's great for you and Patrick.
At least a shoe deal.
Yeah. There you go. You don't have a shoe deal?
No.
I'm surprised someone hasn't signed you up.
We are working on it.
Lazar Dukic, event number 13. The older brother of Luka Dukic, who's 22 years old. He
12.
hails from the great country of Serbia, although he's in France doing what young men do.
Yeah, we skipped to 12, but it's okay. It's just a snatch. Something I'm not great in. So
well, let's go back to event 12, the snatch.
It was just a lifting event. I was praying not to be last on this one. So just hit the first weight, please. And I hit the first weight, and then I hit the weight after it. It was again like there was a bar for us to warm up this time, so you could lift before and between your lifts. So it was good from them to set up that warm up bar. So yeah, great job to CrossFit.
What is your max snatch?
275.
Wow. Okay.
Surprised how many guys missed the first bar.
Yes.
But so also very happy, huh?
I don't want to be an asshole, but every guy that missed, I'm like, yes, I'm one spot up.
You don't want to see people fail, but that's more points for me. That's like you said, you were praying not to. So every guy out is wow. I'm moving up one spot here.
Yes.
You took 15th in the event, and you lost the tiebreaker to Jason Hopper.
Jason Hopper, yeah.
Is when you're going to the tie, are you like what's the thought there? How important is that tiebreaker to try to win it?
Well, for me, it's just whatever. It's I think it's 5 points at that point. So every point matter, but at that point, I'm like, I will do the best I can. I will do the fastest I can. But if he goes faster, there's nothing I can do about it. So yeah, I did all 3 touch and go the fastest I could, and he still beat me. So I was not upset about it. I gave my best.
Was he pouting at the finish line?
What's that?
Was Jason pouting at the finish line? Was he angry? Even though he won? He was angry.
Yeah, he didn't fist bump. He didn't shake hands. He just left.
Is that the event where he gave the notorious stink eye to Dave?
It is.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know that story. I'll need to watch the podcast with Jason.
Eddie Davies says, sorry, Brian, I know you have something to say. Eddie Davies says, 100% he did 16 every round. I was watching it live. I told my girlfriend at the time he was doing 16. I'm so OCD, I have to count reps. Bilal Ahmed Khan, what a champ. Didn't let the incorrect scoring derail his weekend. Fran Silvano, I love your podcast. Brian, your fucking audio is atrocious. Please fix it. I love you guys. That's what I paraphrased that one. What's one of the main things he would change about the games from an athlete's perspective? Nope, sorry. Elise, great question, but we're going to move on to the next one because this is the one that caught my eye. I guess Serbia won the water polo, won the gold in water polo in the Olympics.
Yeah. Yes.
So I didn't understand her question the first time she asked it. Do you know any of those guys who won?
No, I think I played with Mandic, Stefan Mandic, against him in junior categories, but I don't really know them personally.
Oh, good. I'm glad you don't, because then we can move on to the next question. Go ahead, Brian, about the snatch and about the tiebreaker. What were you going to say?
So I would assume in that 3-rep max snatch, sometimes you start going and you immediately realize I'm not beating this guy.
Yeah, I realized it in the second rep when it threw me off. I did the second rep and I stumbled a little bit, did a step back and he didn't. So I knew I lost at that point, but I still tried. Maybe he will miss his third rep. So I just did third touch and go and he didn't. So yeah.
Because I saw there were a lot of tiebreakers, which was, creates drama. But I saw that there were some times where people just realized I'm losing this tie.
Yes. Some of the guys didn't lift the last bar, but if I saw it, I wouldn't lift it. Also, it's just you did so much up until that point that like there's if there's something that you can not do, like I would not do the last snatch.
Makes sense.
CV Dejano. That's how you say my last name. Geez, Sevan. Sorry, Fran. I tried.
Civijano.
Jeez, man. Civijano?
I think so.
Why's he got to put that DGA in there? That's not even like a word. Civijano. Fran Civijano. Hey, it's not my fault you got a hard name to say. Event number 13.
Yeah.
I'm going to the pool today. I'm taking my kids to jiu-jitsu in the pool today, and I cannot go to the pool and feel comfortable taking my shirt off unless I do a workout first. So we gotta fucking move, guys. I gotta get a workout in.
Just do 50 push-ups and you're good to go.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's how I do it.
That's
50
good.
push-ups and
good.
Take the shirt off.
Hey, there are some incredible shots of your body, by the way. Have you seen some of those, especially in those running events? I don't know which running event it is. There's a slow-mo of you running, and it's a profile, and man, you look crazy.
Yeah, thanks to Josie from Life of Josie. He did this edit. It was really good.
Armenian man. Yeah, I mean, you look like something special. He really killed it. Anyway, okay, event number 13. Oh, one more thing. Sorry, one more thing. And that video that they played, it's now on the homepage of the CrossFit Games site. It has some really unique music, and they played it for the broadcast while we waited for them to set up the award ceremony. That video is crazy. Did that guy do that too? The Josie guy?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. But
who did that?
My lift from the second ladder was in there. So yeah.
So he's a good dude. Do you know what was that guy's name? I think I sent him a DM telling him, and I had to go out of my way to do that. But I was so touched by that video. What's that guy's name, Brian?
Video.
Was it just the highlight video from the week with the little clips all strung together?
It's got some trippy music to it. It's so beautiful.
I think that was a team of a couple people that have been a part of that team, actually.
Lilian Fuentes?
I'm not certain of that, but possible.
Let's just say she was. I love her. Okay. Event number 13.
Yeah, that was my biggest mistake of the weekend. That was the event that I wasn't really focused on. I was on a high from yesterday, and just a rookie mistake of being overconfident, and I'll crush those guys. Those guys are tired today, and I just went too fast on GHDs and tried my core for the yoke, and just couldn't carry a yoke, and second to last out of 20 guys.
Brian, will you tell us what the event is?
It was the 2223 in out this year. It had every round was a buy-in of 20, and then I think either 7 or 8 burpees plus throw the sandbag over the hay bale. With the remaining time, carry a 600 the length of the North Park soccer field. Look back at your entire competition. This stood out to me. I hadn't spoken to you about it, but it stood out to me as something that I was like, surprised here. I know that his lifting isn't the strongest. I think he's got a pretty strong midline, and I was wondering why you were struggling so much with this yoke.
Yeah, I just made a mistake. My strategy was completely off for this one. I was thinking I will have some benefit from doing GHD's full sprint, and that was just a stupid mistake I did. Like if you go 20 GHD's full sprint, you will get 5 seconds on total time, and you will fry your core. And after those 20 GHDs, I just went to the yoke, like I did burpees, and went to the yoke. And when I picked it up, my core just it just my back dropped, and I couldn't really carry it the first one. Maybe in the first one I moved it 5 meters, and then in the second one I think I progressed as event was going. So yeah, I think I moved it the most at the third interval. So.
So when you picked up the yoke, you knew right away. Was that the first time you were aware your core was fried? Were you like, uh-oh, something's not right?
Yeah, that was the first time I realized something's not good, because in the warm up we had yoke to warm up, and I was feeling great with that yoke, and it was just the surface was different. We were warming up on the concrete, and I didn't do any GHDs to warm up for the GHDs. I just did like some hip openings, and I did some V-ups and something, but I usually never warm up for GHD. I just like start doing them. So.
Did you finish it? Was it the last round? If you wouldn't have finished, would you have had one more round, or that was the last round?
No, that was the last round. I finished a minute left until the end, but it was the last interval of 3 minutes.
And you took 18th out of 20th. One guy was capped. Will Morad was capped. Do you know that does that hurt? Like when you're out there and you know everyone else is done, does that start creeping into your brain? Like, oh, fuck.
Yes, especially that some of the guys finished it in the almost first interval, like Adler and BK finished it almost in the first interval. So, yeah, they finished it in the second one and did he did 40 GHDs and 16 burpees, and I did 80 GHDs and 32 burpees.
Yeah. Bjorgvin 441, and your time was 1134. That's a huge difference in terms of how much work you did.
That's just insane. Too much.
Wow. And when you cross the finish line, are you pretty beat up after that one?
Yeah, I was. That was the angriest I was the whole weekend. Like I didn't let my bad events go inside my head, but this one I was so pissed. Luca was cheering me from the stands, and it was North Park, so he could see me over the fence. He's like, calm down, it's okay. And I just started swearing. I needed like to get rid of that feeling. So yeah, it was the most stressed I was
emotionally and physically a beatdown.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I let Dave know that. I told him I was doing a podcast with you today. He pretended not to know who you are. He goes, "What about lasers?"
I don't think so. You're making that up.
No, I'm not.
Really? Come on, Dave. We feed next to each other.
Lazar, would you take Fraser as a coach? Sevan, would you get commission if Fraser would coach Lazar? Thanks, Sevan, for entertaining the shit out of us for the past few weeks. For example, we watched the entire JMS podcast production in 1 week. Love it big time. Fran, oh no, dude. Fran Sevillano said, "You're becoming one of my favorite interviewers ever. You're amazing. Love what you're doing with your kids." Sorry, I didn't realize that was going to be just a jerk off session on myself as I read those. So that was the first event for the final day. Did you have plans going into that final day? Like, hey, I'm going to move up 5 spaces today. Hey, I'm going to kick ass. And okay. So it's actually even worse than we thought. It was not only a shitty event for you, but it kind of dashed your dreams from the night before when you were in bed being like, okay, I'm really going to come out hard tomorrow.
Yeah. And I took some time to get frustrated and to get angry. Like I was 20 minutes I was angry, and then I went inside the cold tub, and it's just over. You need to move on. If you continue doing this, you will get even worse on the next one. So just move on. It's done. You can do nothing about it. Just forget it and let's go.
You described your approach to that event as being a little bit, I think you used the word arrogant, because of how well you...
But I was on a high, and I'm going to do great in this one. So yeah.
So it's a quadruple whammy, physically, emotionally, dashing kind of your hopes from the night before, but also not living up to your expectations at all.
Yeah, especially with this one. That's nothing I can't do. Like, it's all good movements for me. Like, yoke was not that heavy that I was supposed to struggle that much. So yeah.
Do you have access to a yoke at home in Serbia?
I don't have it near me, but if I need it, I will go somewhere and do it. There are gyms that have the yoke.
Like a real yoke, or is it like some Serbian one that's like welded together by like the local guy?
A real yoke, really.
And do you believe him, Brian? I'm picturing like this contraption that's made out of like recycled metals.
I thought he might just
two fridges on the side.
And two two fridges on the side. I'm telling you, how did he come up with that so quick? I'm telling you, that's what they use. And to increase weight, they put beer inside, and they have a bungee cord that holds the door shut.
I was thinking he might
go ahead.
His neighbor and unhitch the ox, the plow on his shoulders, and get to work.
Normally it's the actual ox when he lifts up. Normally when he practices the oaks, he has cock and balls resting on his neck.
Those are Greeks. That's Greek stories. No
one's safe. No one's safe. And I picture it like having a rusty pipe, and Lazar's has to get a tetanus shot like every 6 months because the fucking yoke is. Oh man. Okay, enough making fun of Serbians and Greeks and Armenians. Event number 14.
Hold on.
The ice bath. Okay, go ahead.
It's a good time to ask this. I wanted to ask it actually a couple of events go by. As the weekend wears on and you've now made it past the final round of cuts, and you're looking at the leaderboard, it's like, okay, well, these 3 or 4 guys, they're probably 5 or 6 guys. They're probably guys. Maybe these 8 guys, they're too far behind me to catch me. Guys and saying like, these are the 4 guys I really need to pay attention to.
Yes. Vigno, Saxon, also
maybe
Guy. I don't know how his last name.
Mayeros. And then maybe like Scott Panchik was right around there.
No, he was just once in front of me after the cleans, and then I took him over. So yeah, Saxon, Guy, Vigno, and yeah, that's it.
I'm gonna regret saying this next thing. Who's Vigneault?
Alex Vigno.
Come
Oh,
on.
right, from Canada. Shit. Okay, I had him confused with Thomas Vigneault. Wasn't there a Thomas Vigneault from Finland? Sorry.
Thomas
You're right. I
Vaiano.
knew it.
Yeah.
Vianya. Sorry, I got my wires all crossed up. Sorry, Alex. Sorry. I knew
Like
I was gonna
you
regret
two are
saying that.
just a great combo. Like
I knew I was gonna regret. I'm like, I don't see Thomas Vigneault. I don't see. I'm looking through the list here in front of me. I knew shouldn't have opened my mouth.
It was
I should have texted you that. Damn it.
Lazar, yesterday we talked to BKG
Oh,
and he
shit.
brought up Thomas Viano. So it was in his mind. Anyway, so
thank you, Ryan.
so you are focusing on a couple of these guys.
Yes.
And after, you have to put team behind you, and you still don't know what the last two events are.
No.
Right?
No.
So then you go to the
We
briefing.
got announced after the yoke. We then got told what are the next two events. We actually got to know what's final first, and then after we got to know what was event number 14. Yeah. 14.
How do they get the yokes on and off the field?
Actually, this is
amazing. Volunteers are just like huge applause for them. Like great guys, and they put two plates on one side. They made it like this, and then just roll it to the floor until the end of the floor.
Oh, are there wheels on one side of it so you can do that?
They make wheels out of plates.
Oh, out of the plates. Oh, wow. Okay.
It was pretty cool. I was because when I went, I wasn't sure of the exact distance travel, or it said like 136 feet, but I didn't know if that was going to be a down and back, because something I always think about when you have a worm or a yoke and you're running a competition with multiple heats is you need the equipment to if you can design the workout so that it ends where it starts, then you don't have to do the work in between the heats. And because it was the 2-2-2-3 interval, and I assumed that Dave wanted it to take at least 2, 3, maybe 4 intervals for most of the guys, which it did. But when people were almost finishing in one, they have to go down and back, and then after they drop it off the last time, they'll run a dramatic finish. But that wasn't the case, and I was like, wow, get these yokes back down there. And then I saw what they were doing, exactly what plates off one side, tip it up, and roll it all the way down the field. It was pretty cool.
I don't remember what year it was, if it was like 2010, but I'll never forget when the volunteers and the people who set up the equipment, if you've never been to the games, it's really remarkable, because how they do it is it's kind of like a military parade. They all march in single file line, and it's like organized. It's almost like synchronized swimming, the way they all come on there in a line, and then they spread out, and then they do their stuff, and then they leave in a synchronized line. They're only allowed to travel certain routes, and they have to stay in order. It's really neat. It's fun to watch.
It's just super impressive. Like,
yeah,
nobody would say those guys are not working together whole year for this.
Right.
They're so good that it's impressive.
Yeah, it's like a marching band, but instead of instruments, they're just taking equipment on and off. It's cool. It is cool. I used to love watching that. Okay, so event number 14, you go into it and you don't know what it is. I still don't know what it is. What was it?
Freestanding handstand push-ups and deadlifts.
Oh, that's right.
He announces these two workouts back to back. In a positive mindset, okay, these are things I can do, or are you a little bit like, oh man, these are not good for me?
Again, what I think first thought that comes to mind, barbell again.
In both workouts.
So in both workouts, it was. I said to Luca after the games, we had belt on more times than we didn't.
Okay.
And were the deadlifts? Were 405?
405 short bar, so it's like 435 at least.
And what is your max deadlift?
I'm not sure in pounds, but it's 230 something kilos. Not sure. Nothing impressive.
Maybe 540, 545, something like that.
I'm not sure. It's 500, I think.
Someone will tell us in the comments in a second. Okay, so
I'll tell you.
so it's heavy. So 405 is heavy for you, especially at the end of the week.
Yeah, really heavy. The fun thing about this workout is that it took me 2 minutes. Jeffrey told me this on the dinner. It took me 2 minutes to finish the last deadlifts, and it took him 14 seconds, and I still beat him in the workout. So, yeah.
What?
He did unbroken, bam, 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 14 reps of deadlifts, and I did 6 sets at least. I did singles at the end, so 7 sets, 8 sets. I am not even sure.
And why would you do singles? Aren't you hoping to get at least doubles so you can get a bounce?
No, I just couldn't hold the bar, and you can't get a bounce from the short bar, Sevan. It's really hard to get bounce from the short bar. There's a funny story from Dubai how Wellner and Fikowski told me about the short bar, because we didn't have it on the warm-up area, and they saw me. We had some DT or some barbell cycling with hang power cleans, and in the warm-up I was doing it, bouncing it out of my legs, and Wellner comes to me and say, "You're going to do them like this?" Like, yeah, why not? It's a short bar. Like, I will do it like this anyway. He's like, okay, and we got lined up, and I sprinted to do just one to see what he's talking about. I did hang power clean, dropped it on my leg, and it didn't bounce up. I just hurt my quads really bad. Like, you will not do this ever again with the short bar.
Wow. Does Rogue make a short bar that people can order and practice with?
Yeah.
They do. Okay. And
Why do
you
they
don't own one?
Why do they use the
I don't
short
know.
bars? Do you know?
Because of the lanes. If there's a longer bar, guys will crash into each other.
Yeah, I think it's so you can get more. I've always heard that it's so they can get more people per event.
Space.
Yeah.
But it does. I mean, it does. In certain instances, it really does affect the weight or the way that.
For sure. Like clean was much heavier because of the short bar.
And the snatch event was a short bar too?
No, it was a regular one.
It was a regular bar.
No
thought
shortage
there
of
was-
space there.
I thought for the no. Sorry, not for the max snatch. I mean for the snatch echo bike.
Yes, short bar.
Short bar also. Okay. Because I remember when they said that, I was like, oh, I wonder if the short bar is so short that it's going to change like Fikowski's grips or the taller
Yes,
guy's grips.
because he got stones during the whole weekend because of his build and his height. Like he was hitting the grass with each swing on the muscle ups, and for chest to bar, even if they took off for the final event, even if they took off the mat underneath him, he was still hitting the concrete with his feet. So, and also the short bar for him, like when he's doing snatch, he's going much wider, I think. So, yeah.
Wow. That could be a whole nother show talking about whether that's fair or not.
Well, maybe we'll
or
be
if
able
fair
to
is even the right question.
get Brent on to talk to him, because I'm sure that he's got the best perspective on it. Being the one
Oh,
who is
he's
you know,
really
it's happening
busy,
to him.
Brian. He's really busy. He's really busy. I don't know if we're going to get him on. He's really busy, buddy.
Lazar,
don't hold your
before
breath. He's really busy. Go ahead.
how often do you practice freestanding handstand push-ups?
Once a month. And if I practice it, I don't practice it with this standard. So
That I've been, I had said on one of the podcasts was I didn't necessarily have a problem with the freestanding handstand push-up. Like there is some precedent, and some people have sent me on Instagram, CrossFit.com main site workouts that had freestanding handstand push-up. But I've never seen the freestanding handstand push-up walk back down, demonstrate control, and that counts as a rep. And I thought that it might have been nice if you're going to have them the first year to do them in place. You know, so it's like you're going to do 6 in a row in one, whatever. And maybe this standard could have been something that. Do you think that it made a difference at all?
No, like I think nobody practiced it really like that. So it was just how quick can you adapt, and I was pretty good adapting to that one. So I was pretty good at that one.
You got 8th place. Only 2
Yeah.
people didn't get capped. Patrick Vellner and Justin Medeiros. They're the only. Oh no,
That's
that's
it
not true.
for the men.
Oh, it is true. Okay. Wow. And did you have a tie with someone in that event? No. You're plus
No.
11. You're all by yourself.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, that was at the end of that workout. You know,
There you go. There's another European who's not bitching. No griping from Lazar Dukic from Serbia. Even
That's how
Brian
you
tries to
say.
bait him. Brian tries to bait him to give
no.
him. Brian hands him some Kleenex, and Lazar says, "Shove that right up your ass, Brian. Shove that right up your ass."
Well, what I was at the end of this workout, like you're fatigued, right? The deadlift heavy you've done, handstand push-up demands a lot of focus just to be able to get one of the 14 reps in the final round, and then you really have no like it's not a workout like the Echo Bike Snatch. You can really race someone. Your focus has to be just on you, right?
Yes, I was talking to the judge the whole time while I was doing handstands. Just be sure to tell me when it's a good rep and stuff like tell me how many reps I did, because it was so confusing because of the lines. Like you can't really count the lines when you're doing the workout, so I don't know where I am at the moment. Like I don't know if I did 3 or 2 or 4. Like just tell me where I am. So yeah, I had great judge that event. So
Hey, speaking of great judges, that judge you got that was making you do 16 reps on the double unders. I have a couple questions about that. One, did you ever see him or her again? Was it a man or a woman?
it was a man. I saw him at the dinner after, like it was dinner before the party, so I saw him there and I didn't say anything.
But you never had him again.
No.
And
I didn't have the same judge. Like all the 15 events, I had different judges.
I think they make
that's
a
cool.
point. I think they make a point to make sure that you never judge twice.
And
yes, I also think.
when you were doing the double unders, sorry guys to go back to this. When you were doing the double unders, didn't you know that it was wrong? Like you did I'm guessing that he wasn't counting the first one. Was that the issue?
No,
I made that assumption.
I think what was the issue was he was counting when I step after the double under. So I do double under and step, he counts 1. I do a double under and step, he counts 2. And in my head it's 1 while I'm jumping, 2 while I'm jumping, 3 while I'm jumping, and I think it was misunderstanding. We misunderstood.
So he had the wrong finish point as the.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder. And there were other heats in that event, and I'm assuming he judged women. I wonder if he did that to anyone else. That would be fascinating.
Yeah, I really want to know that.
That would be fascinating to find out. Okay, so and this judge you were talking to with the handstand push-ups and everything went great. You give that judge great reviews. Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we move to event number 15, Brian?
Yep.
Yeah, again, barbell. That's every time I barbell again.
And they told you both event number 14 and 15 at the same time.
At the same time, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It was great finals, if you ask me. Great finals. Just great for the spectators, like racing to the finish and everything. So yeah.
And I remember this one was 600-meter row, 90 chest to bar, and it was the lunges. You're impressed, right, Brian? I'm impressed too. And the lunges that were the back lunge, front rack lunge, and overhead lunge.
Yes.
Woo! Boss.
He will not need you soon, Brian.
Oh, you are a smart man. Everyone thinks Brian's a co-host. Really, I'm just in an internship.
For you, chest back pull-ups, you just see the barbell.
No, I was thinking the guys will struggle at the chest to bar, and I was so stupid to think that it's 20 fittest people on earth, like everybody can do chest to bar.
Oh, what do you mean you thought they would struggle? You thought like at 45
thought
people would burn out and then
I'll,
there'd be see
I'll beat
onesies?
Alex. I thought I'll beat Alex Vigno because he's a bigger guy, and I'm pretty good with chest to bars. And also I thought I'm going to beat Guy, and at the end it was about barbell. Like I finished some time before him chest to bars, but he just crushed the barbell. I think he did back and front unbroken and just dropped it and finished it with overhead, and I needed to drop each time, and my back was broken after the yoke and deadlift, so my front rack position was really bad. It was harder than the overhead position for me. Like I was praying to finish the front rack unbroken so I can go to overhead. Overhead was fine. I did it close grip because my wrist was killing me, and I did it close grip, so it was fine. Like just front rack was really, really bad.
Why do you have such good shoulder mobility? That one time you referenced you had good mobility, and when you were talking about the dumbbell overhead snatch, and now you're telling us you had the option to do close grip. I mean, I'm guessing a lot of athletes don't have that
swimming
option.
10 years. Swimming
And that-
10 years, I would say.
And that gives you good mobility in your shoulders?
For sure, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Like the only good thing that I had coming into CrossFit was because of swimming, with shoulder mobility and aerobic base.
I didn't know you were a swimmer.
Oh yeah, I swam when I was young as well.
And so, and Lazar, you never went to failure. Did you go to failure on any of the lunging? Did you ever get called back and have to put the bar down, or
No,
even on the overhead?
No, I was so careful about that, because if you get called back, you will not be called back. Like drop the bar and pick it up and go again. You need to drop the bar, push it back, and then start again from the back. So I was really careful not to step on the lines and do something stupid.
Okay.
And then when
And
you
go ahead.
when you finish the last of your first games, cross the line, get on the finish, what's the emotion?
I don't know. It was relief, happiness, like maybe some sadness because I didn't do even better, but it's everything at the same time.
And then standing
I
there,
would say relief the most.
and when you're there, standing there with the other 9 men who were in the final heat of the workout, is there like some kind of unspoken bond between you guys stronger at that point?
I think definitely yes. Like everybody, like we sat next to each other because there's only one guy that gets called to be fittest on earth, so he goes, and 9 of us are sitting wishing to. So yeah,
At the dinner, do you not let the guys who didn't make the cut? Do you guys make them sit at a separate table?
No, I needed to sit next to my brother.
Luca, sorry, you're gonna have to fly home on a different flight.
Yeah, that's what my father would say. We did one competition in Athens when we were younger, like 2 years ago, and I took second and Luca got 7th, and my father's like, "Okay, guys, you're walking home."
Was that the same competition where he was sleeping in the car?
No, it was year after, but yeah, he slept in the car in 2008, 17 he slept in the car. In 2019 I took second and Luca 6th.
And Luca, Lazar, you say that joking, but that's a consistent theme amongst great athletes. You'll hear their parents, like I use the example of Khabib, the great UFC fighter a few days ago. He would win a fight, and he would call his dad back home in Russia, and his dad would tell him everything he did wrong. And then
exactly.
he would say,
that's my father.
and there is sort of that there is that theme amongst champions. I mean, they have it's there's no easy road to the top. There's just no easy road to the top. Like there's no pity party. There's no.
I agree. What could have you done better?
Right.
Soon after the competition ends, are you already thinking that of next year?
immediately after. I was like that night. I was thinking what I will do to get myself better. It's like everybody. When Fraser said this quote, "When will you start preparing for the next games?" He said, "Tomorrow." You start preparing mentally. You start thinking what you will do better next season, where you will improve. But it's just so stupid not to take rest and heal and mentally get more hungry for the next season. So yeah, it's you start preparing mentally, but physically you definitely need some time off.
That's interesting. Even when I interviewed Dave after the games were over, I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "I know the right thing to do is just to stop thinking about the games for a week, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go lock myself in an office for the next 2 days and write down all my ideas to make the games even better the next year." And I mean, it's an obsession, right? There's a lot on the line, a lot of responsibility, so many people putting in effort. Lazar, there's something that the TV does not translate at all, that none of us can know. And it's the emotional journey that a human being goes through when you break them down physically, the way you were broken down in those 5 days. Is there, are you aware of that as that's happening? Like, holy shit, something's like, I'm getting exposed emotionally, like as as my physical body is.
Yes, for sure. Like I was always close to Luka and Anya during the whole week, but I got a lot more into myself during the week. As week progressed, I like second day I talked to you guys, and then I remember getting an email for the last day. Do you want to be in the? I saw it just like after the day after the games, but like I was not even checking mail. I was not doing anything. The only thing why I was checking mail was to see if I get CrossFit games. So yeah, even my coach was with me. I was barely talking to him. It was just what I need to eat, when I need to warm up and stuff. So there's not much talking. Like you, I think you stop sparing energy on everything else except execution, and you just like close in and think what can you can you do better, and how can you improve for the next one. But yeah, it's mental roller coaster from highs to lows, like, and you need to be like present in all of it, and just let it sink in and focus on the next one. So yeah, high, low, continue. Whatever happens, you need to continue.
Do you have a good cry after the games?
No.
There's no, like that night you go to your room, turn on the shower, and just weep.
No.
Oh. All right. So much for that question.
No, I heard the question. For me, there wasn't so much crying. Like I did okay. I did what I expected, and if I won, I would cry. But I think I expected what I did. So, for example, I remember semifinals. I expected to qualify for the games, but Luka didn't. And after the games, after the semis, we weren't together. So I saw the leaderboard first, and I knew he qualified. And I called him. I told him, "You qualified," and he just started crying. Like he said, "You're lying." "No, you're qualified," and he just started crying, like really crying like a baby.
Like you hadn't heard him since you've been a little boy. Like, did it remind you of that?
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, I love it. God, I love it. What life is so great. Amazing. Is the how hard are you being on yourself for next year? Is the plan just to get to the games again, or is the plan to do better than 9th, or is there, like, do you even think like that?
No. For me, there's only one goal, and that's to win it. It's not I need to go 7th or 5th or whatever. For me, it's only one goal in mind, and I want to win it. And I think I worked as much as any other guy, if not more. So yeah, for me it's only one goal in mind, and yeah, I started planning and started thinking what I will do better and how I will change my training to benefit my overall fitness. So yeah, I think of course you first need to qualify, but I think I will not, like this year I trained for the Open, then I trained for the quarterfinals, then I trained for the semifinals, and then I started preparing for the games. This year I think I will start preparing for the games as soon as I start training. So
Wow. Does that sound right to you, Brian?
I think so. I think both this year was necessary because he hadn't done that yet. And now, but he also knows that even though it's his first, and he has a big training base when it comes to executing metabolic conditioning workouts in the Open and quarterfinals and doing what he needs to get there. But the things that happened to him at the games, he learned a lot from them. Obviously, we know that, and he's very aware of the places he can. And some of those places are not things that you can improve in a 6-week training cycle right before the games. You need to take a few of the year planned carefully with some deloads and rests in there to be able to build up the strength that he wants to build up so that he can best chance possible to meet and reach his goal.
There's that word again, deload.
Well, whatever. You can't go heavy every day,
I know, but it's just that word deload. I just don't think it has anything to do with weightlifting. Someone said, get Brian a fucking cable. Just so you know, so guys, it's not his cable. We're pretty sure it's his computer because he has a old ass computer, and we think it has something to do with the buffer. His internet speed's good, everything's good, so he has ordered a new computer.
And I'm actually on a LAN and cable network or whatever, plugged into the.
So, right.
Lazar, will we see you in some off-season competitions? Have you made any plans for that yet, or you?
Oh, I'm in big dilemma. There's a bunch of great competitions, and some of them are paid really well, and some like it's great to do all the competitions and earn some money. But if you just continue competing, you will come back the same next year. So that's not my goal. My goal is to play it smart and like maybe I will sacrifice something and. But I will invest in the future like I did in 2019 when I didn't show up and it paid off. So I got an invite for Rogue 2 days ago. So yeah, I will probably go to Rogue, and then from there I'll see. There's also this Mayhem competition and then Dubai, but it's all also close together that I need to see what I will do. I need to check with my coach and with everybody else to. I need to see what I will do.
Yeah, I mean, we did talk to Vellner about that a little bit too, and it's not an easy decision for the athletes. You have one way or the other, you have to give something up, either the opportunity or the opportunity to really take the off season to improve the things you want to improve.
Yeah. But it's really it's really funny that they gave at the Rogues so much money, like it's almost like the games. So like, how can you miss this competition? Like it's
an invitation. Like you don't have to do a qualifier to get there.
Yes. Yeah, like somebody asked me, will you do Rogue? And it was 5 days ago before I got an invite and before I knew what were the prizes and what were the, like, you get your trip paid, you get your hotel booked, you don't have to think about anything. No way I'll go to US again. Need to think about all of those stuff. But then I got an email and like, you don't have to think about anything. Those guys made everything for you. You just need to show up. So it's like
no wonder you think the Echo Bike is better. I think the Echo Bike is better too. Shit, I'm gonna get an invite. God bless the Echo Bike. Lazar, thank you.
Thank you guys for calling.
I saw you make that post saying that you were going to do a review. Lazar made a post saying he's going to do a review of the CrossFit Games. I asked him, hey, will you please do that on our podcast? He said, okay, sure. And you did it. And I really appreciate it. That was a really long, I think that's one of the longest podcasts we've ever done, 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Really. Like we need to go for 3 just to break all the records.
I would encourage you to buy an iPhone or take your girlfriend's.
Yeah, I'm actually using hers at the moment.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, brother. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Lazar.
And I'm going to end the stream. Bam.